Our guest today is a prominent leader in data science and AI. Kutlwano Ngwarati is the founder of High Risers, an organization that is dedicated to empowering women in AI across South Africa. Today, she is here to talk about how SMMEs can grow and thrive in a digital economy. Let's meet her. Let's check in.
Yeah, now you're all serious. After the conversation, we should have just came straight here, actually.
Kutlwano, how are you checking in?
Cold Saturday morning, but doing very well. Just come from home from two very beautiful girls and a husband, so it's a good Saturday. And that's how I'm checking in.
From a warm home.
From
A warm home.
a very warm home, very warm home.
Okay.
Yes.
And how has the week been?
The week has been good. Quite busy,
Okay.
especially this past month of June moving into July. So quite a lot of activity, but overall a very good week. Quite progressive week as well. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me.
No, definitely. We had to. I mean, you are very much visible, especially on LinkedIn. So we had to really get you to come and talk to us.
And I'm glad my marketing is working. Or that my marketing team is working.
Definitely. No, they're doing a good job.
No.
Give them the feedback. They're doing a good job. I think it's always interesting and refreshing for me to sit with people that are really pushing, people that are really determined to make an impact. And you are one of those people that I recognize, the effort that you are making in this world.
Mm. No, thank you for that. And I think, nothing good is ever achieved without big dreams. And so it always starts from what is the vision that one has for their own life, right? And so some of these are then materializing from that goal of what is it that I want to achieve with my life. And some of the stuff that you speak about on LinkedIn is part of the journey and the process in order to achieve some of those great things.
Yes. And I mean, someone who's watching this thing and doesn't know Kutlwano, please go to LinkedIn and and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about Kutlwano. I mean, who is Kutlwano? Where were you born?
Yes.
How was your upbringing? Were you the naughty one that is always breaking stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, just about which schools did you go to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was born in Sebokeng in the Val. Went to school in Free State. That's where I matriculated.
Okay.
And I'm a person that always was curious. Just as a child, I always wanted to understand, how do things work? How do people think? Why is this working? How can it be done better? So I really was that child that was always asking questions. And I think those questions then led to a lot of curiosity, a lot of reading. So I am one of those top 10 students. It just came naturally, if I could say that. But it really all stemmed from just that nature of curiosity. And when I matriculated, then also studied engineering. Back to the questions of why not me, right? A lot of peers were going into BCom accounting, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, why is less females in engineering? That's the one I want to do, and that's what led to that. And I also was always someone that wanted to solve hard problems. So I didn't shy away from things that seemed complex. I always was like, if anyone's going to do it, it's me, right? And that thinking also then led to also study data science. So once I did engineering, started working at the mines, and also started questioning, because in that experience of working, a lot of things would break. And we would always wonder, not really wonder, but we'd analyze post something has broken, that this is why this specific machinery equipment broke. But I was like, with the years of this mine operating, why are we not being more predictive and rather less reactive and more proactive?
Okay.
And so that then led to also studying data science as well. Yeah.
Okay. I want us to go back a little bit.
Okay.
People always tend sort of fast track this part, but for me, I'm very much interested in
Okay.
it. so you were born in Sebokeng. Do you have siblings? Do you have parents?
Yes.
How many siblings do you have?
So I have one sister.
One sister.
Yes.
Okay.
So two
Older.
girls. She's younger. I'm the
She's
older sister.
Okay, so you're the firstborn.
Yes, I'm the firstborn.
Okay.
Mm.
And tell us a little bit about Kutlwano at, this is the same question that I asked the previous guest. I mean, at 8, 9, 10, as a young girl, like, how was Kutlwano then?
So, raised by mom and dad, and my parents divorced, I think 13 when I was 13. So 8, 9 was really brought in a turbulent home. But again, it stemmed to why are things this way? What can be done better? And so, as firstborn, I took a lot upon myself to really create almost a safe environment for my sister, and also I also took it upon myself to create a safe environment for my mom. So at 8, 9, I would say I was that person that would be her shoulder to cry on, because with marital things, you don't want your friends knowing what's happening in your
Yeah.
home, and you also protect some of those conversations from your own family. So as we were growing up and seeing the turbulence at home, I found myself almost having to be a leader at quite a young age, and that leadership also carried through, as I mentioned, graduating and so forth, and choosing different careers to pursue. But that's me at 8, 9. I was also very, very cognizant of environments, also because of how we were raised out. Didn't really connect with a lot of people, so kept my circle small. It served me well, because you hear certain relationships work well, certain relationships don't.
Hmm.
But really kept my circle small. But with that came depth. So with the friendships that I made at primary school, friendships that I made at high school, some of those I've carried through because I really spend time investing in certain people, and also because I was this shoulder to cry on for my sister and shoulder to cry on for my mom, or creating safe environments. Sometimes people will gravitate me but also because of that, I didn't have a lot of energy, so I was also quite selective of the people that I would then have in my life. But it also gave me time to then focus on how do I become excellent? How do I make sure that I change this environment, improve this environment? So those were some of the mind frames that I think about of what I had when I was like 8, 9. And so even at primary, made sure that, I'm in the top 3, because there's like, I want to create a better future for myself, for my family, and so forth. Yeah. So those are some of the thinking. Yeah.
Would you say now looking back at that, there's a negative impact to, or there's a cost to you being a child, but now having to take on these big responsibilities? I mean, you're talking about you looking after your parents and your mom specifically. And I'm just thinking, at a young age, that can be impactful. I mean, would you say there's a negative, or there's a cost now looking back at that? There's a cost to you having to take on those responsibilities.
I think the cost was being guarded. So I take it as pros and cons, right? So the cost of keeping your circles small is you struggle to network. And I found that later in my career that I wouldn't be necessarily the person that picks up the hand for certain things. You really just put your head down and do what needs to be done. And that served me well at school, because you have to go through the system, but life is quite different. Life, you have to see, how do I connect the dots? And in order to connect those dots, you have to look up. And so I learned that quite late on in my life. And I feel like if I wasn't so guarded or had to take certain responsibilities that early, I would have been less free as a child, connected with a lot more people, had, hundreds of friends. So I think in terms of relationship building, I understood it from reading books and looking how other people moved in life, that this was perhaps a negative. But the positive was, because I'm a person that was able to get things done, I could make things happen.
Yeah.
And so that taking that on, that responsibility, then naturally gave me leadership qualities that others might not have gotten. But there's also that leadership qualities with empathy that you also need to be cognizant of. Yeah.
Okay. No, nice one. And then you go to varsity.
Yes.
You study engineering.
Yes.
How was that? Which university did you go to?
I went to Wits University.
Okay.
It was brutal. First year was brutal. The distinctions didn't matter. Sure.
The grades were gone.
Yeah. And it was really tough for me from, like I mentioned, always being top 3 to so first year just made it with 50s. Second year actually failed, and I really took a knock. Really took a knock around confidence, around self-esteem. I just couldn't almost see past this like I am the golden child. Like even having to take those marks home, and I'd gotten a scholarship, a bursary. So I'm also thinking, how's my mom going to pay for this? Because they pause for the next subjects, right? So if you're on a bursary, they'll pay for that year. But if you have to repeat anything, you now have to carry that cost. But I also learned the cost of failure and what it means. But and also the thing about varsity was I was trying. Like it's something else if you are partying and you're out there. But if you're trying and you're not getting it right.
I've done the best I can.
I've done the best I can, but I also think the best I can could have been improved with relationships instead of taking it alone, and it speaks to how I grew up around.
Oh yes.
You know, being guarded. So if I was part of study groups, certain study groups had past exam papers. I would get that past exam papers maybe later because I'm not part of certain circles. And it's not the circles were bad. It's just I came in with my head down. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to make it happen. But there was a lot of textbook sharing and sharing of ideas, discussions. And in varsity, you start realizing it's not just about what you know. It's not regurgitation of information. There's a level of understanding. So the question will come quite different from how the lecturer explained it in class. And so it's just around how's your thinking pattern. And my thinking pattern could have been enhanced by engaging with various people. And so that's why I said I learned it quite later in life, because in third and fourth year was a lot smoother. Also, I was also integrated. I knew a lot more people. So I was able to then develop those relationships. But
It started rough.
yeah, engineering. Yeah, and I really started rough. And when I did my MBA, I was like, why was I struggling so much? But again, MBA is around syndicates. It's around how you're thinking. You do a lot of group work, a lot more easier. So it wasn't the curriculum, it was really the person doing the actual work. I think engineering is one of those tough courses, but I think we come in not understanding what it takes to get there. But once you have, it's like systems, once you understand the systems and processes, then you'll be able to get through that.
It gets easier.
It gets easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did an engineering degree.
Yes.
Industrial.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then you spoke about MBA. I read somewhere there's data science.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about data science.
Okay.
What is data science?
So
For
data
someone
science.
who's not familiar.
Yeah. So data science is really taking raw data and bringing that, or using that data to then make insights and ultimately creating value. So how I think about data science is really around the data value chain, and that's what I like to use. So it's data, information, action, decision, action, and then value. So with data science, you take in data that's raw, messy, unstructured, and you analyzing that, cleaning it up to create information. And that information must then drive a decision. That decision must drive an action and ultimately create value for the organization.
Okay.
Yes.
And is it a qualification that you hold
Yes.
in data science?
Yes.
And
Yes.
when did you do this
Data
qualification?
science. So once I studied, once I completed my engineering degree, I then worked at the mines.
Okay.
Then at the mines, I realized that we were quite reactive. And so with it being reactive, I decided there must be a better way of analyzing this data rather than asking what happened. Why we're not asking what could happen? You know, how do we predict and be more proactive? And so that then led me down the rabbit hole of looking at some LinkedIn courses, some Udemy courses around data science. But then I was like, I'm not getting the gist of it. Yes, I'm doing online learning, but I just want to spend some time understanding this. So I decided to resign and go pursue a qualification in data science. And then the fun part about that was that RMB, because it was like this new trend around how do we use data, so RMB then paid for that and was able to also understand the financial services industry while studying. And that's how I then got the actual qualification data science. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. And so at some point you come across AI.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, how do you, or you just, joined the band?
So from data science became a senior business and data analyst. Then I became head of data analytics. So just really understanding how the data works, and then became head of data engineering. And then with AI, it was really understanding that AI is similar to data science. So data science gives you the basic understanding, but AI gives you scale.
Okay.
So AI is able to really take some of those learnings. So looking at the data value chain, it can expedite certain processes there. So that's the beauty of AI. You can do a lot more, a lot smarter, a lot faster. And that understanding then led through this journey of actually building an AI organization called High Rises that really looks at how do we use some of these latest AI tools to help organizations identify opportunities and also understand where's the return on investment of some of those opportunities. So partly the bandwagon, but also understanding with the foundation of data. But of course, we you have to jump on the latest trend as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, the opportunity was there and we were ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You talk about high risers.
Yes.
Where is that spark, coming from? When does it, begin? When do you say, but I need to start, an organization
Yes.
to do something about this?
So, like I mentioned around the curiosity of why not me? The AI, one of the biggest AI products comes from Silicon Valley. And so I felt challenged that why can't we build African-led AI solutions that can compete globally, can be executed brilliantly, and that's where Horizons came about. And so we've built an Gen AI platform. So using some of the latest Gen AI tools to really understand how do we help organizations map their workforce.
You need to slow down a bit. You build a Gen AI.
Workforce platform,
Okay.
workforce intelligence platform. Yes.
Okay.
And so what this platform does is it takes things like job description and we take it through that platform, and then it helps organizations, also SMEs, to map out where's the AI opportunities for our
Okay.
organization, and then should we automate, should we upskill or reskill, or how do we drive growth? So with all these AI tools, there's various opportunities, right? And what the platform helps you do is really identify where's opportunity for you as an organization,
Okay.
because AI comes with a lot of hype, but you need to be clear on where is it that we need it. Is it to automate repetitive manual processes? Do we want to scale our growth? Are we looking at invoices, financing? So that type of clarity is very, very important before you plug and play any tools or start building any of the AI or start building an AI solution that you currently have. Because then you're able to identify where's the ROI, because you're able to track, am I looking at my entire process and using an AI tool to expedite this process? Am I looking at replacing headcount in my organization? But how's this AI tool going to help me with that? And then I use the specific person for something else that we need that might require a different type of thinking capacity, because AI is really not here to replace us as humans. It's here to enhance our brilliance and enhance our creativity. And so someone that used to do the very repetitive manual work, because where we see some of the biggest opportunities is in back office, and back office is your financing, invoicing, manual processes, and so forth. Yeah.
For now.
For now.
For now, it's not yet to replace us for now. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of SMMEs don't, there's a fear of, the cost of, implementing something like AI. And with you being in that space,
Yes.
also the complexity, some people might feel like this is complex. I mean, I don't understand it. What would you say to someone that feels like AI is going to be expensive, AI is overly complex, I mean, and I don't know how to use this thing? Someone who's essentially battling with Excel.
Yes.
the
Yeah.
basics.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, if you've ever used ChatGPT to create or draft an email for a client, then you've used AI. If you've used Canva to design some of your posters for your marketing, you've used, AI. And then if you've used a chatbot to respond to some of the client inquiries that might be on your website, then you have used it. It's just around using it more intentionally because the skills or the capability of AI is growing. And so I always when I speak to SMEs, it's really to understand where's the need. So someone else's need is productivity. We're not able to reply to customers quite quickly and so forth. So there's various tools. Currently, there's over 30,000 AI tools. And so you need to understand what's our budget, why do you want to use this tool for? So it can enhance a certain process in your workflow, depending, again, on your budget. Is it productivity? If you're looking for marketing, there's certain marketing tools such as Copy AI that can then help you develop your own marketing content. So, for example, I'll speak about myself. So I use ChatGPT quite often to develop some of my LinkedIn content. I also use Copy AI. And then I have a workflow that takes what I've done on ChatGPT, puts it on Canva to create the infographic that I'll then put on there. And then these two I put on Make to automate and schedule for me. So all of these tools, so ChatGPT is $20 for around about 400 Rand if I convert that to South African. And then Canva is 900 Rand per year. And then Make is also a monthly fee. I also think it's $20. So I've created that automation on my side to make things easier for me. But someone could start with just ChatGPT. And it's also very, when I speak to SMEs, it's also very important. So when you use ChatGPT specifically for marketing, think if me and you and 20 other SMEs are using the same ChatGPT tool, you then also need someone to overlay that and make sure that it still has your brand voice and carries the type of tone style that you're looking for. So someone has to overlay that. So that's some of the tools. And when you look at that cost it's costing me less than 500 per month just to automate one of my processes. And then come to the back office of how do I automate some of my contracting when I engage with enterprises, some of my invoicing when I engage with enterprises. And of course, I've had to look at my time or my team's time versus this actual automation tool. So you also need to make sure that you do that analysis upfront to understand what is it that's repetitive that we can automate, where is it that I then need human labor for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's also risks
Yeah.
to using
Yes.
AI.
Yes.
In as much as it's a beautiful tool to use, but there's a lot of risk. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What would you say are the main risks? And I'm not talking about. I understand that there's future things that we need to worry about, but I'm just saying for someone who is an SMME today who wants to use this, what are some of those risks that you think people need to be aware of?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll mention three, but the first one's really around data ownership and privacy.
Okay.
And it's very, very important to understand who owns the data, right? Of some of these tools that you use, where's your data going to go? So you can't put your IP, such as your company strategy, on ChatGPT and start prompting it. ChatGPT is an AI organization that's owned by America, and America has the rights to access any of the data. That's the laws in America. So it's very, very important. Is this tool built in South Africa? Is it built in Europe? What are the laws? And understand how are you then going to use the tool. So also very, very important that you don't post customer sensitive data, your IP, without that understanding. So that ownership and data privacy is very important. And then the second one is really around blind automation. So what we find is a lot of organizations just, again, what you spoke about, it being flashy, the latest tool. People want to post that we now a forward-thinking organization using AI without first understanding what's the ROI, how is this going to help our organization, how does it meet our strategy. That's very, very important. And then, the third risk is really around losing your own voice as an organization. So if we're all using, like I mentioned, the same tool, how then do you differentiate yourself? So my advice is always to think of these tools as a thinking partner and not something that replaces your entire organization, because if you guys are all doing the same thing, it's going to start showing, and it does show in some of the conversations we have. Also, you can also see it with some emails that this one's auto-generated. So organizations really need to be thinking of some of those risks, and then the cost as well, right? If you're not quite clear on why we're implementing this and what and how it enhances the organization, you'll find yourself in ramping up those costs quite quickly, because there are several hidden costs, and so you need to be able to read that fine print as you move on. But if you can address some of those things, then you'll be able to use AI quite safely and responsibly. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I've noticed that also, that it becomes very discouraging when you read something and it's overly polished, or
Yes.
it has the dash.
Yes. The famous dash.
No,
Yeah.
the famous dash
Yes.
it can be a problem.
Mm.
But one of your goal is to build a $1 million AI business in the next 3 years. Can I do that?
I'm doing it.
Is it something that can be done by anyone? I believe you can do it,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that you're gonna tell us how you want to do it. But first,
Okay.
I mean, can I also join the
The
bandwagon?
bandwagon. You can. It's really around learning. You have to want to learn. You have to be curious, and then you also need to be clear. Of course, that goal comes with a lot of work. It comes with a lot of understanding the latest trends, how to use the latest technologies. So there's a lot of self-learning, self-coding that has to happen. And if you are one of those people that are going to put in the work, I think anything is possible.
That's possible.
Yes.
But it's difficult.
Yeah. It's possible, but hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right. So
yes.
it's for the select. Not all of us.
No, but if you have ambitious goals, you can't be lazy. You need to back that ambition with the work ethic. So set those goals high, but make sure you have the work ethic to back that up. Yeah.
Okay. How are you planning to do this? I mean, tell us something. Somebody really wants to. I also want to build a $1 million business in the next 3 years.
In the next 3 years.
I'm sure I can get one or two tricks.
Yes. So I mean, it's more proof of concept that it can be done. Also, when you start reading about some of the global organizations, you start seeing what is possible, how are people being able to do some of the work that they're doing. But it all stems down to systems. And one of my favorite books is The EMyth by Michael Gibber, because it really speaks about how systems work, how do you automate some of those processes. And so we're using AI agents to do quite a lot of what we would require consultants to do. And so we're starting to see, if we have multiple of these AI agents in our organizations, how can we reach certain goals much quicker? So it's really around understanding the processes in your organization and how do you scale those processes quickly. This journey, of course, is not going to be replaced by networking and marketing. There's still that human element of trying to get into certain organizations. But what it enables us is to deliver a lot quicker, but also overchecking or making sure that it's brilliant work, because that's where the differentiator is. So we are, as high risers, we have our GenAI Workforce Intelligence Platform, but we're also building AI agents in the background to help us execute some of that work. And like I mentioned, we started high risers. We are growing as an organization quite quickly. There's a lot of interest around AI, and also realizing it can't always be Kutlwano at the forefront of things. So some of these latest technologies are helping us do that. But more than the 1 million, it's just proving that an African AI-led organization can, do work brilliantly, can compete brilliantly.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes is, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." So important. So it's setting the benchmark high, but at the same time, we absolutely believe we can achieve it. So I will shake your hand when I'm that $1 million AI $1 million.
I want you to take me with you. I don't want you to shake my hand. Just
I
take
must
me
take you with you.
Take me with you. No, but I mean, and that's why I'm saying I love the work that you're doing, and the big dreams are I think to go for.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. We
Yes.
need to go for these big
Yes.
dreams, especially in today's world.
Yes.
I mean, with all the opportunities that are there, I mean, things like AI are really helping us level the playing field. So you talked about high risers and you do a lot of mentorship programs.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So high rises was really born from starting to understand that competence is not enough. So I would find myself, as I rose up the career ladder, find myself being in spaces as the only woman, sometimes the only black person, asking tough questions. And I was like, but in this organization, why am I the only head of whatever department, or at the specific conference, roundtable conversations? I'm sure there's other women. And so that research then led me to understand that there are many women that are capable. It's just an issue of courage and confidence. And so it's around, how do you show up in the world boldly and say, I'm ready to take on the next challenge? Because research actually shows that women are over mentored but under sponsored. And when I started to dig deep, I started understanding that sometimes a woman is qualified with all their qualifications, degrees, and so forth, but they won't be the one to say, I can do this project, because to them it seems like a level up. And so then decided to start High Rises, and specifically in the data and AI space, because that's where I was and I could understand
Yes.
the scenario, but really to create a safe space to have conversations and to really dig deep into how are you showing up in the workplace, because how you then show up actually determines how you accelerate in your career.
Okay. And how long has that been running?
So we started last year. We took 40 women last year. So started last year, and then this year we took an additional 40 women. And from the last year cohort, over 60% either got promoted or transitioned into tech and data careers. And it just shows it wasn't a matter of competence, it's just a matter of conversations and creating a safe space. And so how we run the program is an 8-month program. And we have 2 leadership tracks. So it's the technical track and the leadership track, actually. And in leadership, we're talking your soft skills. So leadership, we're talking communication, talking stakeholder management, and that's conversations, facilitated between senior leaders. So your CIOs and your heads and managers, just really to get people to the next level. And then the technical track is where we offer your data science, cybersecurity, AI engineering, and that's really for people that then, for example, an accountant that wants to transition into the data space, or someone that's studying masters that then wants to understand, how do I overlay that skill set with the latest skill sets of now. And how we've formulated the program is you have one-on-one mentorship, but over and above that, we have guest speakers, because Kutwano rose up the ranks in one way, but it's also very important to understand, how did Vuyani do it? How did the CEO of Rwanda do it? How did the CIO of Standard Bank do it? And take those lessons and see how does it apply to where I currently am at. Yeah, but it's been a really interesting journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any SMMEs that are participating in this program so far?
So currently we have, it'll be a founder of an SME,
Okay.
but it's mainly career people that come through. And I think that speaks to some of the branding we've done. We haven't, I've just, not really just, but in the last 18 months founded High Rises. So I've changed, but I have a long career, lots of experience in the career path. And so that credibility is already there. Whereas the credibility of founders still being built. And I just saw that the number of intake, so we haven't said specifically it's for career people, but just looking at the applications, it's people that are in looking to rise up the ranks, specifically in career.
Incorporate.
Yeah,
Okay.
corporate, yeah.
For someone who wants to become part of this, do they get invited? Is it by invitation only?
By invitation only, no.
Or I mean, how do people become part of the program?
So we open applications every year in September, and then our cohort will start from January. So people can just follow me on LinkedIn, and that's where they'll see in September we'll open up applications, and then you just apply to join the program. But I do want to advise that you are clear on your objectives, because sometimes people will say, pick me for mentorship, but when you ask what is it that you want to achieve, there might be that lack there. So be clear on what it is that you want to achieve in your own space, so that when we have the conversations, we're guiding you towards your actual goals. If you have to start by defining your goals, spend the next 2 months or so defining what it is that you want to achieve, so that when we come in as the Horizons team, we can then hit the ground running and make sure that you reach some of those goals. Yeah.
Okay. No, nice one. There's more that I would want to ask you on AI, but I think for today, that's let's stop there. Is there anything that you think we should have discussed today, or anything that you want to bring up around this conversation, especially with SMMEs, because obviously our biggest focus is
Yes.
SMMEs.
I think, belief comes before ability. So I really want to speak a little bit around mindset as SMEs. That before the skills, before the qualification, before the confidence, you have to believe you belong in the room. And I hope that SMEs will show up differently in their spaces, in the conversations that they have, because the future of AI won't be built by spectators. It'll be built by people that show up boldly and say, I'm here to take up space. I'm going to be the one that tries out some of these technologies, and this is the return. Because you read a lot about what people have done, but you also need to understand that they took a step before the entire staircase could be shown. And so that's really the key thing that I just want to highlight today. Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. And I mean, it's something very exciting, intriguing. I mean, to talk into a space that a lot of people are not understanding. Because I am of the view that a lot of SMMEs don't understand the space. So AI, a lot of SMMEs are not growing because we are not taking up these opportunities. We are not implementing these platforms that can help us scale our businesses. And I'm not going to talk too much about corporate because at least you're already doing that. So I think it's just exciting that you as a business owner, one of your biggest focus is the space of AI. And I think it's important. I think it's something that we should not take for granted. It's something that we really need to push for, especially as South Africans, because there's big opportunities in that space.
I 100% agree. And really to encourage people, GenAI, so AI as a space has been there for quite some time, but GenAI started roughly around 2022, 2023. So there is no expert. And so when I walk into spaces and stand on stages, I'm like, we all new to this thing. So let's make sure that we take the opportunity. But it's really going to grow and blossom. And so people that choose to get in now to understand how does this thing work, how do I learn and benefit from it, will reap rewards for many years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.